A surprising joint venture called Dino-X between InGen and Biosyn has made headlines lately. In a brand new project, they claimed the moon. To be precise, they built a full ecosystem. Actually, dinosaurs were brought from Jurassic Palms to the very port of Port Canaveral and brought up all the way to the moon. We are lucky today to speak to the architect behind the big project of Dino-X, Mr. Rudi Rennkamel. Hey there, thank you for having me, and my name is Rudi Rennkamel. I am the genius, builder, architect, maestro, or just simple YouTuber behind this wonderful little side project of Jurassic Palms. This is a Moonbase. Yeah, we're building a Moonbase. 3 different ecosystems that will be joined by tunnels, but beforehand I obviously needed to create myself a little moon surface. This is what we're doing here at the beginning, bit of landscaping, so therefore it's actually sped up quite a lot. If you don't like this too much, there will be a bit of a real-time part at the end. Due to my limited time as expert architect and, well, in real life, because I'm a little bit sick, as you can call from my voice, this voiceover is going to be a bit, shorter, and then you'll be left alone with a bit of nice retro-futuristic music and the time-lapse afterwards. But beforehand, I'm going to talk you a little bit through my idea behind those 3 echo domes. Now, I have made the huge arena as one of the first builds for Jurassic World Evolution 3, and I was hoping that we get a bit more control over, landscaping just in general, or like different textures and different biomes, but we needed to work with what we have. And also, because of the workspace being relatively limited, I tried to build, first of all, a giant cube into the air, which could then act as a moon, so you couldn't see the rest of the maps as boundaries, but that unfortunately didn't work. And then I tested the whole thing with the island generator. The problem with that one was, though, that I couldn't get the same texture as in here, because the alpine biome isn't really in there as of now. So I needed to kind of come up with a better solution for that, and I tried to do my best in order to create this wonderful little moonscape here. So yeah, that was originally I planned to do this like a little bit of a 1 hour, 2 hour work, but let alone the speed build of this moonscape over here took me about an hour before I was actually starting with the first little build here. So yeah, that was a bit of landscaping, and I also scrapped the first version of it. As every good architect, you have a couple of versions first. However, this one over here, the arena blueprint kind of viewing area, this one is actually my second attempt, and I went already with it, which is kind of, well, unknown. Normally I do have like 4, maybe 5, I guess, attempts before I go for a style, but this time I really knew exactly what I wanted to go for. So the style should be rather modern, a lot of concrete work, a lot of inspiration taken from current renders of moon projects, whether it's been, Blue Origin or SpaceX, or also could be NASA or ESA. It doesn't really matter. They all have kind of a similar idea of how things should look. What I then did, though, is I went away a little bit from the initial problems you would have, being it radiation or a little meteoroid kind of hits. I just kind of left this out for the moment being. I could have gone a bit more crazy to that, but as we cannot build any tunnels in this game with the landscape, it just turned out to be a bit of an issue here. So what I mean by that is, normally what would happen on the moon at the moment is you would kind of build a giant structure, and then you would have 3D kind of printing robots that go and take the soil, the moon soil, so to say, crush it down into a printable material, heat it, and then they would basically print kind of a moon concrete on top of this. So kind of a structure that would then save the structure that is below from radiation, from also freezing temperatures, but also from little meteorite hits. However, this would then look technically like the moon soil being just shoved above it. This is technically not possible with the in-game soil, because you can only raise and lower the terrain, but you cannot go below the terrain technically. And this is why I went for a more concrete attempt with a classical concrete, as you can see, design, I should say, over here. I used some very strong pillars to the left and right from the viewing dome or viewing center, just or like the viewing gallery, I should say. It's not a center, it's just like one single gallery. And I already knew that I wanted to go for like a 15-degree rotational trick. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using the lowest amount of angle snap we have, and then I do snap all the buildings exactly into each other with like 15-degree angle. You'll see in a bit that I'm also building an exact connection point between the two, so that this is easily just creating a perfect circle after the end. In the end, you can also use that kind of pivot point method if you have a pivot point in the center. That unfortunately doesn't work with viewing galleries, because you can only have one viewing gallery per building, which is a bit of a problem. I would love to see more viewing galleries, or just in general facilities per group, because that works in other games too. So I'm wondering why it doesn't work in here, but you can only have one viewing gallery per building, which is a bit of a shame. But whatever, I went on with it, and it just kind of worked. So yeah, I'm also building like a little bit of an outward structure here. You can see this is a bit more of an attempt to make it somewhat more structurally realistic and a bit more safe, I should say. But at the end, I liked how it turned out. All right, so as promised, I'll be back at the end of the time lapse. Now enjoy a bit of music, and I'll talk you through at the end. So that's been it with the time lapse. Here you can see the full result in a little cinematic, and the only thing that was left is obviously the 3 different biodomes, and obviously the delivery of the dinosaurs, which you will see in a second coming down here with the rocket. But I'm gonna hand you over to the real-time Rudi just now. So here we are with the final design, with the final 3 ecosystems, as you can tell. So the idea was basically to have like a rather tropical, is not really the right word, but like it's a bit more foresty area in here. Then we do have a deserty area in this one, and we do have a bit more of a temperate one, hilly one in that final one over there. So also size-wise, they are not like extremely big. Also, I should mention that this building over here, the wonderful Moon Center, is actually a blueprint. I'm gonna link the blueprint down below in the description with the share code, because I forgot to mention that during the video, but this is not mine. I just did a couple of changes. There's a wonderful visitor center available. You can download. That is pretty much a really cool one. I'm gonna link the share code down below. That is absolutely great, and you should grab it. While we fly in, you can see this is the first ecosystem. It's rather filled in here by now, because I let the game run for a while to have a couple more dinosaurs and breeding and stuff, but they did not mess around, these guys. They actually, you know, had a good time, had a blast, and repopulated the moon rather quickly. So you can see it's rather bright in here. We have a lot of floodlights, because on the moon there is not really that often that much light. So we are also here in the need of water, so that means we need to go to a region on the moon where there is ice, and that ice means also being on a side where there is not that often much sun. So we have these kind of floodlights, as you know, giving us quite a lot of sun on, or light, I should say, and also have these light structures that have kind of a UV light idea, so that is for the plants and stuff, so otherwise they wouldn't really grow, and that is the idea, to have some heat generated in here and some UV light. Also, we have to imagine that this is a glass dome, okay, because the glass panels we have in game are not really feasible for that. And oh, this is why they cannot traverse. No, this is actually just a pathway. I thought that's that, but they have like a little traversable tunnel over here coming into the next one. Again, as I said, it's rather filled. I should really activate hunting, and this should then be cleared in a bit, but it's just for the ideas. Also, that little center thing doesn't look really nice. I just went for the idea, and I kind of like the idea how it turned out, but I don't like how this thing looks. I could have made that nicer looking with a couple of rocks indeed, but yeah, I kind of felt like this is what I wanted to deliver anyways, and so here we go through, and this is that. I'm gonna upload this, and you can do all kind of shenanigans with this build if you fancy doing so. You can just create your own one. But also kind of funny, we have some flyers in here. I don't have, you know, I didn't put down nests for them, so otherwise they would have repopulated themselves as well, but I have not given them any access to some, so they're just living around here. But the fun thing is, even though they can escape rather easily, they really don't do it that much, because all they need is in the domes, obviously, and so they will always be back, and this is kind of their habitat. However, I think these domes really look absolutely fantastic. I mean, if you fly out and have a look at them, just, I mean, that does look absolutely amazing, doesn't it? I wish to be able to just make it, like, if you make it daytime, just gonna show you, whoops, I wasn't right now. So if I go and make it midday, for example, it just doesn't look like on the moon, you know. I don't know why, but it just doesn't click with me as if this would be on the moon. You can actually create a bit of an effect by having some of the other color grading. I really believe it was, oh gosh, which one was it? Was it the Montana one? I'm just gonna click that one in. I think it is this one. And then if we go into that one, yeah, it gives you a bit more of a bluish tint, so that works a little bit better, but it's really not what I want to. It's not like the kind of moon, because you would need to have like a skybox out of, you know, that looks like the sky apparently, and like the night sky, or like actually space, I should say, and that does not look like space whatsoever. I mean, what you could do technically is you could just go in and, oh, I hate this, dang it, wait, why is the roll in the, oh god, the roll in the cinematic mode is like different keys than up and down normally. But what I could do obviously is I could use some Photoshop and then kind of add some space sky to it. I may actually do this, I don't know, but this is definitely a cool idea to have it this way. You can literally see how that works, and technically the moon should be like rounded and should look nicer, but I guess at the end of the day, as for a concept, these domes look really cool. And just so you guys understand how this has been built, I'm just going to show you in a bit. Hold on for a sec. This is just such a good view, isn't it? But if you go in and you grab all these pieces, you basically have all these individual viewing galleries. And if I duplicate that one, you can see this is one of the pieces, and then you can click them together. You could also make, if you wanted to, you can make a more narrow kind of dome out of it, but obviously these things are optimized for being 15-degree angled. So if you go for a 30-degree angle, as you can tell, it just makes the whole thing a lot more tight, and then the upper part doesn't really work anymore. Just to showcase, this is not looking how it should be on the upper part, so that would look very odd once you do this. So it is definitely optimized for 15-degree usage if you want to build these domes yourself. I apparently cannot give you the full dome. Just going to show you real quick. So I'm going to confirm all these. As you can see, there is no way, because it's 20,000 pieces. Even if I get rid of one of these ones, it's still 90,000 pieces. There's no way to give you, unfortunately, access to the full build. Also, let me just quickly check the arrival point. Can I tell you which one that is, the arrival point? It is the, let's hold on, maybe I can show you modern arrival point. Let's see. View on workshop. Yes, we can showcase this on workshop right now. I don't need to put this down. There you have it. It is the arrival point from Mitch in real life, and the code is down here, 9x5 RKP-9J4, and I'm obviously going to upvote this. Have I already upvoted this? Anyways, I have. This is the arrival center, very great build, and I have just done a couple of changes to it, so it fits in here. So there is the obvious mention and credit where it's due, because otherwise this is not how you do this. Anyways, this should be it for today's episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed that. I am planning a lot more one-off builds, a lot more arenas, a lot more kind of cool stuff. I'm working on one thing that is a bit of a weird thing to do, a bit of harder thing to achieve. I need to trick the system a bit more, but eventually I'll get there, and I'll be releasing this arena to you too. Until then, have a wonderful time. Thank you so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also watch the next video if you liked this one. So also, if you want to know and want to leave this arena fight till the death, we could do this as well. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see something like this as well. I could then just turn on hunting and see who is gonna be the winner of this moon ecosystem. Well, let me know in the comments. Otherwise than that, this is a good thing to end the video. Have a good time. Thank you so much, and hopefully next video I'm gonna sound less nosy to you. And until then, have a good time. Bye.